Ready? They're off, and Too Much Trevor on debut gave the other two a fair start and has to be ridden along through the first of 5 furlongs in the Atlantic Pale Ale Maiden Stakes. Spanish Phoenix on the right, yellow jacket for Oisin Murphy, disputing it as they run downhill early with Old Chums and Ali Rawlinson in the black and gold spots. And it's a pretty steep learning curve for Too Much Trevor. Kieran O'Neill in the green and pink soaps already bustling him along to try and get competitive as they move towards halfway. Racing out of the dip and beginning the climb. Spanish Phoenix on the near side of Old Chums. They're still inseparable and they race 2 lengths ahead of the pushed along Too Much Trevor. Heading inside the last quarter of a mile now. Spanish Phoenix just about beginning to move on here as Old Chums comes under pressure. Too Much Trevor in third, struggling to make inroads, and it's the former champ Oisin Murphy in front on Spanish Phoenix and beginning to draw clear as they come deep inside the last furlong. He's merely having to be nudged out to make sure. Spanish Phoenix with every hoofbeat drawing further and further clear, and if you back Spanish Phoenix, go collect. Too Much Trevor got the message late on, got up for second just ahead of Old Chums. Set, and they're off, jumping out over 1.25 miles on this occasion, and Mordor was one of the slowest to get out of the stalls, bustled up in rear by Oisin Murphy and the Claret Silks as they begin the downhill run through the first couple of furlongs or so, and Wintercrack with a pink cap is the first one to show up. Bounds a couple of lengths clear as well to Limerick Bound, giving most immediate chase. And then a 3-length break to Prosecco in the maroon and blue, probably just about shading third. Over Fazate against the running rail in the green and white, and Nakib in a blue and white jacket settling in about 5th position. Ahead of the white-faced Cloud Angel, Show Me the Wire in a sheepskin noseband. Working back then to Letaba in the pale blue, ahead of Dashing Panther in the pale blue and yellow spots. Slow starting Mordor continuing to race in rear, accompanied there by Mini Revo in the black and yellow, as Wintercrack leads them out of the back straight on the descent and is now some 4 lengths clear, with Limerick Bound heading the pursuit a couple of lengths away Prosecco. Further 3-length break, Nakib in a blue and white jacket in 4th ahead of Fazate as they move through halfway. Then Show Me the Wire to Cloud Angel, further back in the field Letaba. Still towards the rear end, Mordor in a claret jacket and also Mini Revo, and they're well stretched out here, courtesy of a decent pace being set by Wintercrack, who now heads for the final half mile, still with a 4-length advantage over Limerick Bound in the hands of Will Buick against the running rail. Prosecco in the blue and maroon poised under David Probert, inching closer, and those in behind now just begin to reel back the pace setter. Nakib in 4th is being bustled along, pulled out down the middle in the blue and white, just being asked for more effort. Fazate in the green and white is in touch in 5th, and then a break to Mordor, who's picking off a few of the stragglers. Still, Wintercrack is the one to pass here. Nakib is now moving off in pursuit. Fazate has moved up into 3rd. Limerick Bound has weakened away, and Prosecco hasn't found much. Mordor in a claret jacket is plugging on. They've still got a 1.5 furlongs to go. Wintercrack by over 2 lengths. Nakib has shifted across the far rail. Fazate still has a chance in 3rd. It's a bit of a slow motion finish inside the furlong. Wintercrack has made every inch so far. Can she cling on? Fazate is moving off in pursuit, but time is running out. Wintercrack and Kieran O'Neill in front. A well-judged front-running ride. Wintercrack makes all to beat Fazate. Nakib only 3rd. Dashing Panther 4th ahead of Mordor. They're off, Dashing Roger, anything but dashing, leaving stall 5. He often misses the break and he has to drop in rear in the light blue. And through the first couple of 100 yards of the King Richard III Cup, it's the nose-banded Wob 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 who leads up to Alexander James in a black and red jacket, and short price favourite Almubia under Will Buick in the dark blue settles in behind the leading pair as they go into the turn. Then May Song in a sheepskin noseband in fourth to Bo Pedro in a white jacket against the running rail. Dashing Roger from that sluggish start has made up a place. And Aryan Power in the King Power Silks under Ryan Moore, the blue and white, looking on from last place as they freewheel down the hill towards the end of the third furlong. Wob 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 against the rail, now being pressured for the lead by Alexander James. Almubia covered up on the inside of May Song entering the home straight. Then Bo Pedro in a white jacket away to the right, Dashing Roger in the pale blue, and Aryan Power the last on straightening as they move through halfway. Alexander James in the black and red right alongside Wob 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 in the hands of Lee Roach. May Song in the noseband poised in the slipstream of the leading pair. Almubia in the dark blue covered up against the running rail as they pass the 3. Bo Pedro's being ridden along. Dashing Roger yet to be asked for maximum effort. Moore beginning to coax away on Aryan Power as Wob 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 kicks on, climbing for the last quarter of a mile. Alexander James weakens away swiftly. Buick has pulled out Almubia now in the dark blue and he's launching his challenge. May Song coming with them. Few others landing a blow in behind. Almubia strikes the front just outside the furlong. It's tough work in rain-softened conditions, but the short price favourite is in front now. From Wob Wob Wob, May Song in third, then Aryan Power. Buick having to nudge away to make sure, but Almubia is extending away in the shadows of the post and is going to run out a ready winner of the King Richard III Cup. Wob 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 in second gave it a good go. May Song third and Aryan Power, followed home by Dashing Roger. Long breaks to Alexander James and Bo Pedro last of all.
Well, Almubia has won our feature race here today, the first running in the King Richard III handicap, and Will Buick remains unbeaten on this horse now, and back in slightly calmer waters, a better setup for him. It looked quite straightforward for you.
Yeah, it was, you know, from where we were drawn, and obviously he does handle this ground, although I don't think any horse really wants the ground as deep as it is here today, but he handles it better than most, and, you know, it's set up quite nicely for him, and I think, you know, he's still a relatively light race, so I think there's you know, more to come for him to learn, and you know, he's still got potential.
He's a horse that looked like he was doing some of his best work late on that testing going conditions, and he looked at in the Lincoln that he could benefit from a step up. Is that the kind of things you're thinking in your mind, that he could benefit from a slightly further in time?
I'm not quite sure what they're thinking, but you know, certainly I would be happy with him at a mile because he's more likely to get a stronger pace to follow, but look, he might improve in time, and maybe mile and a quarter will be something that's within his reach. I know he ran over mile and a quarter a couple of times last year, so you know, it's there for him, I guess.
As a son of Frankel, you know these horses that they do benefit from time and experience and education, and William Haggas is so good at sort of finding those right races for him, so he probably will be given the right setup over the course of the season just to find his feet at whatever level it might be.
Yeah, exactly, and like I said, I think he's still got plenty of potential, so you know, he's a horse that can only improve.
Okay, well done.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
They're off. 6 furlongs, 1,200 metres for the Aspel Cider handicap. Cold Stare in the light blue, a little slow in getting away. Most of them want to race out in the middle. Not so at this stage Society Line, who on the extreme right is running a bit of a solo, but on terms down the centre of the track, willingly in the cheek pieces, has the overall advantage to the nose-bounded Maxino. Broken Spear in an emerald green jacket, only a length off the pace. True Gem in the white silks towards the far side. Then Silent Flame in a dark jacket alongside Cold Stare, who's held together, and Cocoa Bear has switched to the extreme far side in the red, white and blue as they begin to ascend beyond halfway. Now, running that solo not really working for Society Line at the moment. He's a little off the gallop as the cluster down the centre have the advantage. Maxino just about putting his nose-bounded head in front. Cocoa Bear on the left being asked for an effort. Broken Spear is bang there, willingly in the cheek pieces, boxing on under pressure. Then Silent Flame to Cold Stare. Society Line on the extreme right, and True Gem racing down now inside the last furlong. Cocoa Bear has struck the front from Broken Spear. These two moving on. Cold Stare making limited late inroads. Cocoa Bear, Broken Spear throwing down a stern challenge on the near side. Cocoa Bear inching home from Broken Spear, with Cold Stare in third, clear of Willingly and Maxino. They're off. 7 furlongs, 1,400 metres ahead of them this time. Hello Arthur from stall 1 in the dark green and pink was away well, but is now taking a lead from hour by hour with the white sleeves. He's rather lit up on the descent through the first couple of furlongs and is helping to push the early pace along with Carvetti in a maroon jacket. No one choosing to explore the stand side running rail this time. They fan out centre to far side on the extreme right. Ryan Moore has got United Force couple of lengths off the pace and is having to niggle away as they move steadily towards halfway. It's hour by hour to Carvetti. Strategia in a white jacket stalks them, and then over towards the far side, Angel Time. Hello Arthur second from the right, a couple of lengths off the lead, and it's hard work passing the 3 for United Force. Moore still nudging away, kidding and cajoling last of the 6. Hour by hour, leading on the climb now towards the last quarter mile to Carvetti on the near side, far side, Hello Arthur, then Strategia. Moore is now beginning to get a tune out to United Force on the extreme right. He's made some inroads on the ascent, and they're climbing for the last furlong and a half. Hour by hour, tackled on the left by Hello Arthur. Here's United Force down the near side under the Moore drive. Carvetti boxing on from last to first. United Force has come forging through from Carvetti. Hour by hour has nothing more to offer. Carvetti is battling back to United Force in a slow motion finish. Moore driving away, and he lifts home United Force in a tight finish with Carvetti. Hour by hour in third. Strategia was in fourth. They're off, breaking out over a mile and a quarter. Zoffany Portrait with the red cap went sharply to the left on leaving the stalls and gave a nudge to Ivy Avenue, who settles back in midfield in a black and green jacket. A Simulation Theory in the blue and yellow leads them down the hill. And having gone markedly left, leaving the gate, Zoffany Portrait is running a little bit of a solo under the outside rail at this stage in the hands of Jim Crowley, but he's on terms with the leading pair tracked towards the far corner by Iftikhar in the pale headgear. Then a break of a couple of lengths to Big Bear Hug with a yellow cap ahead of Cuban Strike in the purple and green, and Silla Star, base jacket for Ryan Moore, against the running rail as Simulation Theory begins to stretch them out. Order of St John, the orange cap, is in the back third of the field with Ivy Avenue. Long Call in a purple jacket is caught wide into the top turn, and Contrast, blue with a yellow cap, the back marker, as Simulation Theory and Harrison Shaw open up by 6 or 7 lengths, running downhill now towards halfway. Zoffany Portrait from that wide trip has worked over and still heads the pursuit. Just in advance of Big Bear Hug, Iftikhar relegated to 4th. Then Silla Star in a beige jacket around the inside. White-faced Long Call beginning to make some progress. Further back to Order of St John against the running rail, the orange cap, and then Ivy Avenue in a black jacket. Cuban Strike is losing ground, and Contrast yellow cap is pushed along in rear. Entering the last half mile and about to begin the climb for home. Simulation Theory's gone sharply from the outset, still has a 5 or 6 length advantage over Big Bear Hug in the dark blue and yellow, giving chase. Moore now beginning to close in on Silla Star, moving up to dispute second against the far running rail, and now perhaps has Simulation Theory in his sights. They're stretching out, ascending for the last couple of furlongs. Simulation Theory, can he keep going in front? Silla Star on the left is closing in. Big Bear Hug is back in third, and now Silla Star forges through to take over and begins to power on here under Ryan Moore. Simulation Theory has run his race back in second. Ivy Avenue in a black jacket has stayed on into third, and then Big Bear Hug. They're coming home at wide margins here, and Silla Star is simply pouring it on. He's going to score by double digits. It's going to be a double for Moore and a family success. Silla Star in a rout. Very close for second between Ivy Avenue and Simulation Theory, and Big Bear Hug was back in 4th. They're off. 6 furlongs for the Carling handicap. Rajmeister black jacket, slow to get out of the stalls, left trailing early on. White-faced A Up It's Chazz, away to the left in the pale green, showing speed. Laertes in the red and white also up with the leaders. So too Bama Lama with the pink cap, an Autumn Angel and a purple jacket. Extreme right 2 Funky not far off them, being chased by Island's Eye in the blue and yellow. First Company, the yellow and purple in midfield. Lady Manders towards the far side, the beige sleeves in behind Horses Nose Banded, Stallone green and white on the sleeves. Shining Crystal ridden along towards the far side, then back to Rajmeister and Navy Drums. Dan's Art in the dark sleeves last but one. KTK last of all. They've gone through halfway, climbing now for the last couple of furlongs. Autumn Angel in a purple jacket has moved through to take over. From Bama Lama, A Up It's Chazz. Then 2 Funky ridden along further back in the field. First Company in the yellow and purple is trying to thread a way through, looking for a bit of daylight. Dan's Art switching towards the far side. Dark sleeves running on. Inside the furlong they come. A Up It's Chazz has fought his way back to the front here. Going on from Autumn Angel. Stallone running on. Dan's Art still finishing off on the far side. A Up It's Chazz grinding away in front. Doing best. A Up It's Chazz. Tight second between Dan's Art and Autumn Angel. Chased home by Stallone and Bama Lama.